Freudian stuff? Yes, we are.
There's Freudian stuff this week?
There's always Freudian stuff.
Well, then you're in for a doozy.
Oh yeah? Do you know more about, do you actually know stuff about Freud?
I've read several Freud works.
Oh good, you
Yes.
can help me out here.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys are on.
Cool.
Sweet! Welcome to the Joseph Campbell Study Group, session number 4.
Oh, I've missed 3. That makes
You
me feel...
missed 3, he did miss 3. You missed 2.
No, 2. Only 2. Alright. I
missed
don't feel
2.
so bad.
Yeah. So, this week we will be discussing the departure, which is chapter 1, section 1. The chapter is departure. The section we'll be discussing is the call to adventure. And I hope you all read it. Everybody had an extra week to read. So hopefully for once I will not be the only one who actually did the homework.
I sure as heck didn't.
Yeah, he did. Well, I just dragged him in here last minute, so he has an excuse. As I said last week, we were going to talk a lot in terms of the departure, comparing it a bit to the Lord of the Rings cycle and The Hobbit. Ooh. And then I went home and realized I don't own The Hobbit.
I've read it.
I don't own. I've read it several times, but I don't own The Hobbit. Very tragic.
Well, we can try.
We're going to try. We're going to do it from the memory. The Hobbit, that's especially going to come in the refusal of the call, which we may get into a little bit if we have time tonight, which is the second part of the call to the departure. So we're going to start, and the chapter starts with, if any of you here, grab that one so you can follow along. Oh, go grab that copy.
Thank you.
The chapter begins with an example of the departure part of a story. Which is one that many of you will have known. It is the Princess and the Frog, the Frog Prince rather. Princess and the Frog is a kind of unrelated Disney movie. But anyways, if any of you did not read this story or do not have the book in front of you, I'd go to the Joseph Campbell group on the Witch School site, and I posted a link to this story, as well as several others that we will be addressing. So if you don't have the book, you can follow along that way. Can you post them a link?
To the Joseph Campbell stuff?
Yeah, to the group, because to the part of the group that has the supplemental readings.
Unfortunately, the computer is barely able to do the streaming, let alone access the internet.
Alright, never mind. Well, if you guys go to the Witch School site and go to the groups, there is the Joseph Campbell thing. It's also on the Young Witches site, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
And I think even the World of Witches Museum Facebook also has this posted there. But if you Google...
If not, there are links to it at some,
Yes. If not, just Google The Princess and the Frog and Google any of the stories that we're talking about if you want to follow along and you don't have this particular book. So, I will start. Everybody, let's sit in our circles, and I will read you the beginning of the story of The Princess and the Frog. Gather around, children. Long, long ago, when wishing could still lead to something, there lived a king whose daughters were all beautiful, but the youngest was so beautiful that the sun itself, who had seen so many things, simply marveled every time it shone on her face. I'm going to skip this gushy stuff and move on. So it happened one day, and the princess, she had a golden ball which she liked to play with. Close to the castle of the king was a great dark forest, and in the forest, under an old lime tree, a spring...
You want to stop.
Why?
We lost internet connection.
Ah, fuck.
As what happens to the rest of the study groups here, we lost internet connection.
We're still getting local MP4.
Does that mean everybody heard me curse?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh. Sorry, whoops.
She didn't say the dirty word, she said...
Alright, so if they can hear, I can keep going with the story then, because I'm not that interested to look at anyway.
Where are we?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess... Oh, we got perfect streaming again!
Woot! Thanks for your patience, guys. Technical difficulties. I'm going to sum up the story of The Princess and the Frog, because I'm sure most of you have read it. But basically what happens is that the princess goes down to this little spring under a lime tree, and she's sitting there tossing her little golden ball up in the air and watching it fall down and catching it up and down, and one point it falls into the water. And it just so happens that this is an enchanted stream, and it tumbles so deep that she can't see it. Maybe it's just a very cloudy stream. I don't know.
I've always heard it as a well.
A well? It's a stream
Or a
in the Brothers
pond.
Grimm version, which is
Okay.
what I'm reading.
This is the Grimm's version?
This is the Grimm's version.
Okay.
And while she was lamenting in this way over the loss of her ball, she heard something call to her, what is the matter, princess? You are crying so hard a stone would be forced to pity you. She looked around to see where the voice had come from, and there she beheld a frog, holding its fat, ugly head up out of the water. Oh, it's you, old water plopper, she said. I'm crying over my golden ball, which has fallen into the spring. Be calm, don't cry, answered the frog. I can surely be of assistance, but what will you give me if I fetch your toy for you? Whatever you would like to have, good dear frog, she said. My clothes, my pearls, and my jewels, and the golden crown I wear. And the frog replied, your clothes and pearls and jewels and your golden crown I do not want, but if you will care for me, and let me be your companion and playmate, let me sit beside your little table, eat from your little golden plate, drink from your little cup, sleep in your little bed, and if you promise me that, I will go straight and fetch you your golden ball. All right, she said, fingers crossed. Not in the Brothers Grimm version, but I always picture it with her fingers crossed behind her back. I promise to do anything you want if only you will bring me back the ball. But she thought, how that simple frog chatters. There he sits in the water with his own kind, and he could never be the companion of a human being. Clearly, she's never seen the crazy people who come into pet stores with their dogs. They let them eat from their plates and drink from their cups.
Yowza.
As soon as the frog had obtained her promise, he ducked his head and sank in after a little while came swimming up again. He had a ball in his mouth and tossed it on the grass. The princess was elated when she saw her pretty toy. She picked it up and scampered away. Wait, wait, called the frog. Take me along, I can't run like you. But what good did it do, though he croaked after her as loudly as he could? She paid not the slightest heed, but hurried home, and soon had completely forgotten the poor frog, who must have hopped back again into the spring. But for those of you who know the story, you know it wasn't quite that simple. You can't just walk away from adventure once you've found it, or walk away from your frog husband once you've found him. He follows you, as does adventure. Alright, this is an example, Campbell writes, of one of the ways in which the adventure can begin. A blunder, apparently the merest chance, reveals an unsuspecting world, and the individual is drawn into a relationship with forces that are not rightly understood. Here, of course, the force in the world is the stream, which looks like a normal, unsuspecting stream, but through the blunder of dropping the ball, the princess discovers that there is a world of talking animals and strange happenings going on in this area. Now, this is something that is found in a lot of stories, the idea of the hero sort of blundering into the adventure. And I wrote down a couple of examples. One popular one is the story of Alice in Wonderland, where she just kind of blunders down the rabbit hole and continues to sort of stumble her way through Wonderland.
Trying to follow the white rabbit.
Trying to follow the white rabbit. Let's see.
Can I have you pause for a second?
Yes.
Again, we're not doing very well with the internet connection.
Oh.
This is exactly what was happening yesterday on the internet.
Well, this computer is not as good at catching internet as the other computer that we're using.
Okay.
Would you like to try mine tomorrow?
Sure.
How many people do we have watching right now?
I'm going to try to stop it and start it again.
Okay.
Joseph Campbell has attended the